Okay, so I want to tell a little story about this guy I knew in the army named Watson. Jonathan Watson. He was this guy from New Jersey, South Jersey, grew up close to Atlantic City. And what do you know? The guy was a natural born hustler, right? Like I used to talk about Sergeant Paris, how Paris could just hustle you out of your shoes. Watson, picture the white version of Paris. A white fucking New Jersey Guido version. Right? He at least had kind of a Guido accent. Probably beat the shit out of Guidos when he was in high school. But yeah, he had the New York, New Jersey tough guy accent. Like, yeah, my name's fucking Watson, bro. Yeah, don't fuck with me. Nobody fucks with Watson. And he was a bad motherfucker. I'll give him that. Like, he was one of the baddest guys in my entire battery. Nobody wanted to fuck with this guy. And if they did, obviously they would be sorry. And he also happened to be one of the biggest sociopaths I've ever met, right? Like, if this guy turned out to be a fucking serial killer, I wouldn't be surprised. Right? Or like a hitman for the mob. Yeah, not at all. He was just fucking crazy. But he was a very calm and like controlled type of crazy, which might actually be scarier if you think about it. And even though he was only a specialist, he was in Iraq 0607, in the Triangle of Death deployment. And like a lot of the specialists that were on that deployment, they treated them like NCOs. They would give them NCO authority. They would let them smoke soldiers, whatever. And they gave him that. Well, they didn't so much as give it to him as he just took it, right? This was a guy who just did whatever the fuck he wanted and got away with it. And no one was going to tell him shit. Because, yeah, because he was a combat vet and he earned the respect. And just, some people were just scared of him. And like I said, he was a bully and there wasn't shit you can do about it. Nothing. Like, if he wanted to fuck with you, you were basically going to let him. And, like, he would walk up to me and just fucking, like, punch me in the stomach for no reason at all, just to be a dick. And I always felt like a pussy for not doing anything. What the fuck am I going to do? This guy's going to, like, rip my head off. And he didn't hit me, like, hard. So I was like, whatever, just take your punishment. It's part of military life. Yeah. So, I remember this one time. Holy shit, this guy was fast. He told someone to punch him. He's like, bro, hey, take a fucking swing. Hit me. See what happens. So the guy's like, okay. Guy goes to throw a punch. Barely cocks his arm back to swing. And Watson already punched him in the stomach and knocked the wind out of him. Like, God damn, you got some fast fucking hands. Like, yeah, bro. Some fucking Jedi reflexes. I don't know how I do that, but it's fucking fast. Like, yeah, no shit. And the guy he punched was like, what the fuck? God damn, Watson. And he hit that guy hard, too. And on top of being a badass and a tough guy, he also happened to be really fucking smart. Yeah, this guy was not just a sociopath. He was like a genius level sociopath too. He was easily one of the smartest guys in the battery. One of the smarter guys I met in the army. And there was just no stopping. There was nothing you could do, right? And of course, like Abdel, if you heard that story, this wasn't just soldiers, right? This would also extend to like NCOs. If there was an NCO he didn't like, even though they outranked him, he'd tell the guy to go fuck off, and nobody would do anything. And his main target was Sergeant Claymore. And if you heard my Abdel story, Claymore was one of the biggest shitbag NCOs I ever met in the Army. How the guy made staff sergeant, I had no idea. It lasted 20 years. But like, most people didn't like or respect this guy. He was a nice guy, whatever, but he was an idiot. And he was a bad NCO, and he sucked at his job. And Watson especially would give him shit all the time. Like, when he would try to tell Watson what to do, Watson would usually ignore him or talk shit to him and just walk away. And then this one day, Claymore finally decides to try to put his foot down and actually be an NCO. Because he just Watson's a specialist and Claymore's a staff sergeant. He's 2 ranks above him. Yeah, he tried to put his foot down. And more like slipped on a banana peel. But, yeah, so we're at PT. We're running in formation. And Watson says something to him. They exchange words. And then Claymore, does the whole, like, I outrank you. I'm an E6. Show me some respect. And Watson goes, shut the fuck up, Claymore. Just shut the fuck up. Turn around and keep running. We're like, oh, shit. I mean, like, oh, wow. And Claymore is such a pussy. He didn't do shit. Like, it would probably end with Watson dragging him into the wood line and, like, beating the shit out of him. Because this is what they used to do in the old army. Old school army before my time. If an NCO and a soldier had a problem, or an NCO and an officer had a problem, you would literally take it to the wood line and you would fight. And then you'd forget about it and then you'd settle it. So, yeah, Claymore didn't want that. So he turns around and puts his tail between his legs, and that was the end of that one. And not only was this guy smart as fuck, we find out one night he happens to be educated and well-rounded on top of it. When you hear some guy with like a tough guy New York, New Jersey accent, you don't expect the guy to be intelligent or educated. It's a stereotype. Same as when you hear a redneck talk. You don't expect him to be smart either. Well, he sure got us, because we're on the train heading back from a Yankees-Mets game when we were at West Point. The Army took us to this game at Shea Stadium. Fortunately, the Mets lost. But according to legend, Watson actually approached some stadium security guy or clubhouse attendant and talked his way into the dugout, right? I don't know how the fuck he did that, or if it even really happened, because of course I missed it. I was off doing something else. But considering how charismatic this guy was, like he could tell you the sky wasn't blue and get you to believe it. I believe it. I could definitely picture him doing that, especially if you're soldiers in uniform. A lot of guys respect soldiers and veterans. And, the clubhouse attendant could have been a veteran. And then we're on the train heading back, and there's these girls, right? These 3 or 4 cute girls sitting a few rows down from us. And Watson's like, hey, watch this, bro. And like, he could get any girl he wanted. Snap his fingers and get laid. He didn't even have to try. That guy. Yeah. So, we noticed that these girls were having this conversation about ballet. I don't know if they were coming back from a ballet in the city or what. We heard them talking about it. And Watson's like, yeah, you want to know something about ballet, bro? Oh, come on, Watson. We know you're smart. You don't know shit about ballet. How many soldiers know anything about ballet? In the entire army. I don't know shit about it. I know a lot. He's like, yeah, you want to see? Watch this. So he proceeds to sit down next to these girls and basically give them like a class on ballet for the next 10 or 15 minutes. And we're all like, what the fuck? How do you know that shit? What? And the girls look so impressed. Obviously, they never expected that in a million years either. And yeah, their jaws were like on the fucking floor of the train car. Wow. If we didn't have to go back to West Point that night, he probably would have banged all of them, like all 3 or 4. He comes back to where we were sitting. He's like, hey, told you I know ballet, bro. It's pretty impressive shit, huh? Yeah, Watson. Yeah, that was pretty impressive. I'll give you that one. Ballet, wow. And then after he gets out of the army, he starts some bail bonds company, becomes a bounty hunter out in Texas. Like everything else, he was good at it and made a shit ton of money, I believe it. I could definitely picture him as a bounty hunter, and I would not want him coming after me if I was a bail jumper. No, thank you. And at one point, I don't think he worked with him, but at one point he at least met Dog the bounty hunter in the course of his duties. And he even had a picture to prove it. It was him, Dog, and like some other bounty hunters they were working with. And I didn't even know Dog was so small, right? The guy's like 5'6", 5'7". And next to Watson and all the other bounty hunters, he looked tiny. I'm like, damn, son. You're a... Wow. You're a bounty hunter. You're chilling with Dog, the bounty hunter. Making all this money. Apparently in just like a couple of years, he made enough money to retire. At least temporarily. He didn't have to work for a few years. And, you know, he's just high speed at everything, right? One of those guys, everything he does, he's good at. Doesn't even have to try. Yeah, some people just have it fucking made. Really. But, yeah, that was my little story about, Watson, the great Jonathan Watson. What a guy. What a fucking guy.